Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I told you I'd be posting stuff on Wednesdays, or at least try to. So as you can hear, I'm doing some music in the background, so tell me what you think. I'm playing taiko music, only because of what, as you saw from the thumbnail, this is about. This is my sumo wrestling story on how I got into sumo wrestling. So, it basically started when I was younger. I was maybe about 12, 13, and I'm flipping around the channels. I come upon ESPN, and what happens to be on but sumo. Now, mind you, I'm a weeb at this time. I'm already starting. I've got my basic animes down that I personally like. So, Sailor Moon, Ranma Half, Kimagure Orange Road. A lot of the stuff like that. I'm going to do a whole nother video on just anime that I love. I'm also going to do a video about my waifu. So be prepared for that, to find out who my waifu is. But anyway, I'm watching ESPN now, and I'm obsessed with sumo. I find out that at the time I'm watching, the highest ranking sumo wrestler, a yokozuna, by the name of Akebono, may he rest in peace, is the current grand champion, one of two grand champions in the Sumo Story for the Basho, the tournament. The other one is a Sumo Story by the name of Takanohana. And I find out later that Akebono is American. And not only that, but he is the first ever American-born yokozuna. Before him, all the other yokozuna have all been Japanese. So I keep watching. I'm getting hooked on it. I learn about other guys. I learn about Musashi Maru, who ends up being the second ever American yokozuna. The second ever foreigner yokozuna, or gaijin. Then there's Konishiki. Konishiki, his highest rank was an ozeki, or champion. Everybody says he should have been the first ever American-born yokozuna. Again, all three of these men, Akebono, Musashi Maru, and Konishiki, are all from Hawaii. So, like I said, all American. So, from there, after watching that for the first time, like I said, I get hooked. I keep checking the TV guide. Whenever sumo comes on, I'm watching it. I'm trying to watch the condensed bashos, because a tournament in Japan, a sumo tournament, goes on for 15 days. Now, obviously, ESPN isn't going to show 15 days straight of the tournament, of the basho. So they condense all 15 days into maybe about 2 hours. They pick certain matches, and they show those matches. So, like I said, whenever I see in the TV guide sumo is on, I'm watching it. Then I find out that there is amateur sumo wrestling. And I also find that on ESPN. And I actually find out that, again, may he rest in peace, there is a former amateur sumo tori from right here in New Jersey, in from Rahway. And he trained in sumo at the Cranford Judo Karate Club back when they had a sumo program. And that man is Emmanuel Yabaro. I also got to know Manny, Emmanuel Yarborough, because he competed in both UFC and Pride Fighting Championship in Japan. He lost both times, but still, to see a man of his size in the octagon and then in the Pride ring was absolutely awesome. So now we fast forward. I find out online that there's going to be a sumo event at Madison Square Garden. I'm geeked. I'm psyched. I'm like, I gotta go. There's no issues about it. I got to go. So, I get tickets for me, and I go to the event, and I actually got to meet my first ever Sumo Tori. And that is, at that point, former Yokozuna Musashi Maru, because he was doing commentary for the event, because it was being shown on the MSG network. I got him to sign my Japanese flag that I had for the event, and he loved it because even though he was retired, I was still referring to him as Yokozuna, out of respect. I did the same thing when I met Akebono at Dragon Gate, USA, years later. I kept referring to him as Yokozuna, out of respect. So I go to this amateur sumo event. I didn't know it was amateur. I thought it might have been a pro event. Because I know in the past they've done professional events in California, in LA. And actually, I believe, if I saw correctly on the internet, they're actually doing a pro sumo event in England this year. So I wish I could get over to England and see that. But obviously I can't. So I go to the event. I'm watching all the sumo. I'm hearing the taiko. They have a whole thing set up, the whole tournament, where they broke all the sumo tori into their different stables. And yeah. So now we fast forward a little bit more. I get to a point in high school where, even though I did want to be a Marine, I did want to be a U.S. Marine, I wanted to go to Japan. And I somewhat had a plan. After high school, I wanted to go to Japan, move to Japan, and try to get picked up by a stable or, a sumo training hall in Japan and train to be a professional sumo tori, with the goal of being the third ever American Yokozuna, but the first non-Hawaiian American Yokozuna. Obviously I didn't go. Didn't happen. But it is still a bucket list item of mine to get to Japan, see a basho live, go to one of the stables and watch them train. Yeah, so now we fast forward even more. I'm still watching plenty of sumo on TV, and I now find a channel here on YouTube called Jason's Sumo Channel. And at that time, before he was getting copyrighted left and right, he would put up full matches from the basho. He would pick certain matches, and those matches would go up on his channel. He would literally post maybe like 5-6 matches a day. So I got to watch sumo. Then, one day again, I'm flipping through the channels again on TV, and I find NHK America, and they pretty much have the exact same thing, but instead of how ESPN did it, where all 15 days were condensed, they condensed each day. So for 15 days, they had a condensed showing of that day's basho, of that day's matches. So I always got to see who won the Emperor's Cup, which is the championship for the bashos. And I absolutely loved it. I still do. So again, now we fast forward even more to more recent. Again, I am on Facebook, and I see something for a sumo event going on at the Prudential Center in Newark. So I'm hyped. I'm like, yes, I haven't seen sumo since I went to the event at Madison Square Garden. So I get my ticket. I'm living in Plainfield at the time, so it's easy. Where I was living, I could walk right to the Plainfield train station. I hopped on the train from Plainfield to Newark, and I walked from Penn Station to the Prudential Center, and I went and I watched sumo. Now, what was really fun for me is one of the guys who, after everybody retired, Akebono, Musashi Maru, Konishiki, I didn't really have a favorite sumo tori for a while. I just picked and chose guys. But then I fell in love because of Jason's channel with the Great Sandstorm, Asuna Arashi. The first ever Egyptian sumo wrestler. And I fell in love with him. I did. Whenever Jason would post one of his matches, I always watched Asuna Arashi. I would follow Asuna Arashi's bashos every other month on his Wikipedia to find out how he did. Until finally I found the actual website for sumo where I could track each day's basho. So I got to see Asuna Arashi wrestle. And he won the event. He won the World Championship Sumo event, which I was hyped about. You know, I got to see, like I said, my favorite sumo tori, who retired from professional sumo wrestling to do the amateur sumo wrestling. So, I still got to see him wrestle. I still got to see him do sumo. So, now unfortunately it is harder for me to watch sumo. I do follow a couple of channels that do show the entire basho from the start of the day all the way through the final match of the day. I don't normally watch all that time. I will just normally come in for the two highest ranks in sumo, which is Joryo and Makanauchi. And I'll watch all those matches for the basho. So, yeah, you know, so that's my sumo story, guys. You know, like I said, the first video of, I guess if you will, the new era of this channel. So, you know, stay tuned. I do have a video coming on Halloween, or as I call it, Hallowicked, to celebrate Hallowicked and show my Juggalo side. But yeah, you know, because I won't be on until next week with a new video, I will say Happy Halloween, Happy Hallowicked, whoop whoop, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.